Now let's talk about CSS properties. There are hundreds of CSS properties, and if I start explaining every single CSS property, I don't think that would be an efficient way to learn CSS. You should learn each property by actually writing CSS. So whenever you feel the need for a specific property, you should Google for the property and you will find plenty of resources. That being said, you should know the common ones that are used always in CSS. So let me show you some of the properties that are commonly used in CSS. So to get started, we have this HTML document, and I have a division with a class of box, and I have this paragraph inside here, and we have linked our style.css file, and let's go to our style.css file. And first of all, we will take a look at some of the properties that are used with fonts. So let's type P over here, and we have selected the paragraph in our CSS. Now the first property that I want to show you is called font size. Now most of the CSS properties are self-explanatory. So for example, we can see font size. It clearly says that it is the size of the font. So let's change our font size to 32 pixels, and if I save this, we can see our font size has changed and it is now 32 pixels. And the other property used with fonts is called font family. Font family is used to change the font of your text. So if you just type Lato over here, so we can see that the font has changed to Lato. Now with font family, you usually use a secondary font, so this is called a fallback font. So if I type sans serif over here, then if this Lato font is not found on the visitor's device, then a sans serif font will be used instead. Now the next property to be used with fonts is called font weight. So here we can set the weight of the font. So if you type bold over here, we can see the font has changed to bold. If you type normal, then the font changes to normal. So the next property is called color. So if you type color, this is the color of the text. So if you set it to say green, then we can see the color of our text has changed to green. Now the next property is called background. So we'll target our division with this class of box. So we'll type dot box. So if we'll type background, now we have different options over here. So first of all, you can set the color of the background. So if you just type 222, we can see the color has changed to dark gray. And instead of this color, you can also use images by just typing URL over here and typing the path over here. But let's change this back to the dark gray color. Now the next property is the width of the element. So we'll just type width, and we can type the pixel value over here. So we'll just type 200 pixels. And here we can see the width has changed to 200 pixels. You can also add percentage values over here. So if you just type 50%, we can see that the width has changed to 50% of the parent element. So the parent element of this box is body for now. So this body over here is the parent element of this box. And then the next property is called height. So we can set pixel values as well as percentages over here. So here we can see the height has changed to 300 pixels. Now the next property is called padding. Padding is basically the distance from the border of the parent element. So we'll give padding to our paragraph element. So we will type padding, and we'll give a padding of 32 pixels. And here we can see we have this 32 pixels of distance from the border of our parent element. Now with padding, you can set different paddings for the top, bottom, left or right. So here if you'll type padding dash top, and we'll set it to 0 pixels, we can see the top padding is now 0 and all the other paddings are 32 pixels. Now when we have a 0 value in CSS, you can ignore the units and it will still work. Now the next property is called margin. So margin is basically how much distance you have from other elements. So we'll create one more box. So we'll just copy this and we'll paste it over here. And here we can see we have two boxes. So now if you say margin bottom to 100 pixels, we can see we have 100 pixels of margin on the bottom of this box. The same goes with this box as well. So that's how you add margin to your elements. If you just type margin instead of margin bottom, then you will have margin of all the sides of this element. Now the next property I want to show you is called border. So we'll type border, and here you have to have three values. The first one is the thickness of the border. So we'll just type 5 pixels. And the next one is the type of border. So there are a lot of different types of borders. So we'll just type solid over here. And the last one is the color of the border, so we'll just type red over here. And if I save this, we can see we have 5 pixels of red border around our element. You can do the same thing you did with padding and margin, where you can add border top. So if you type border top over here, we can see we only have this top border. So you can do this with left, right and bottom border. Now the next property is called border radius, so we'll type border radius. And I'll just show you what happens when we have border radius. So we'll just set it to 20 pixels. And here we can see we have these rounded corners. And when we increase the size, we can see the border radius increases. Alright, so that's basically it with the commonly used properties in CSS. Now when we actually start designing our website, we will use more properties in CSS. And I will explain them while we design our website. So that's it for this video. See you in the next one.